So here's your trumpet. This is how I hold mine. My right hand, little finger, usually it sits on top of the finger hook. Index finger, middle finger, ring finger. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Some people with their left hand, I only use the hook, the little finger hook, when I need to hold it with one hand. So if I'm handling the trumpet, holding it with one hand, I use the pinky finger in the finger hook. Left hand, this is for your thumb and your first valve slide. So that's to adjust the tuning. And your first finger is down for certain notes. Okay. I rarely use it. Some trumpets don't even have this, which is fine. This ring finger hook for your left hand, that is to adjust this third valve. So this is the third valve slide here. Okay, and that's to adjust the tuning on notes that use this third valve specific notes. And usually you only have to worry about these two if you are in some kind of a critical band, like let's say you're playing jazz or you're playing an orchestra. Those are mostly the types of places where you'd use that, making recording for publication, things like that. Otherwise, as a beginner, you shouldn't need to worry about these two. You can start using them if that's what's instructed, but normally you can try to adjust the tuning of your note with just your lips and tongue for intonation. Okay, so as I said, I hold mine thumb in there, ring finger here, 2 fingers of your left hand in between there, and your pinky finger there. Some people put their middle finger here, and they curl the 2 fingers down here if that's more comfortable. I find it's okay to start, but then my hand kind of fatigues and starts to ache a little bit, so I don't do that. So for me, this is the most comfortable. All right, now to oil, what I normally do is you have your trumpet like this. I turn it and hold it. I hold it like that, so keep it in between my legs, nice and tight there, so it doesn't move. And then you unscrew your valve cap, top valve cap. Some people, when they oil the trumpet, you'll find a lot of beginners, they'll oil it through the bottom, through these holes. But that's not really the best way. I found if you do that, it doesn't always work that well. It doesn't lubricate your piston very well. So before you play, or after you play, if you find your valves are sticky, you take your valve oil, unscrew the top cap, and when you do, you can lift the valve up. You don't have to bring it all the way out of the case. You just lift it up enough. You'll also notice that on the valve itself, there's a number. For example, there you can see the number 1 right there at the top. There. If I turn the valve a little bit, you'll see it has a little number etched into it, number 1. Okay, on the second valve, you'll see a number 2. So the middle valve is number 2. And if I turn that, there you should be able to see a number 2. Okay, and similarly on the third valve, there should be a number 3. And that's so that you don't mix up the valves. So there, you'll notice right there, number 3. Okay, so those numbers should be facing towards your mouthpiece. If they're not, however they come out, you'll notice these are little, on the sides of your pistons, there's little guides. This has one on each side, and there's a spring in between that guide and the top of your valve, and that keeps the piston in place, that little guide. So you can feel if you kind of gently lower it, it should lock into the slot, and there are slots in there. I'm not sure if I can. I'm just going to take the bottom cap off this one. You can take the bottom caps off if you want. It doesn't matter. You can put them back on. So if I pull that out and you look in there, you'll see there's a little, see that little notch? And it's notched on both sides. That's where the valve guide falls into place. Alright, so when you're cleaning your trumpet, that's what you're going to do. You're going to take these off anyway. As you screw the cap back into place, you're going to want to make sure you don't cross thread it. That means if it doesn't go on perfectly at first, don't force it. Back it off and then try it again. And just turn it backwards all the way off, turn it, and then try it again. Because you don't want to cross-thread these caps. If you do, it causes a real problem, and it's very difficult to fix. If most of the time you can't even bother fixing them. Okay, so I take the valve out, not all the way, open my oil, and I just add about 3 drops on the sides of the valve. 1. I'll just turn it and I'll add it. Another drop. 2. And 1 more, 3. Okay, if you need to, you can add a drop to the valve guide there, where the spring is. That's okay too. Remember to reorient your valve before you put it in. Reorient it so that the number, see the number 1 there? So the number 1 is facing where it was before. In my case, it was facing toward the mouthpiece. And I slowly lowered it in. Give it a little, very lightly, try to turn it a little bit so I know it's locked in place. And then gently screw on the valve cap, make sure it goes on smoothly. Like I said, if it doesn't, back it off, try it again. Don't cross thread it. And it doesn't have to be super tight, just snug. If you tighten it too much, it might be difficult to get off the next time. So there's the first one done. Second one, same thing. And I'm just going to show you if I can. There's 1 drop. See? 2 drops. And I'll put the 3rd drop as I drop it into the case. 3 drops. And that one's good. And same again for the last one. Like I said, you don't have to take it out all the way. Let's see if I can show you this without. So. There's 1 drop coming out. Turn the valve a little, 2 drops. And I'll put the 3rd one on. And that should be it. Turn it so that the number 3, see the number 3 there? There's the number 3. I'm going to face it toward the back, or towards the mouthpiece if you like, and make sure it's in the guide, and then screw down the top cap. Don't cross thread, and there you go. That's it, done. If you're going to grease slides, just close this oil. You can use your valve oil to grease the slides, but I generally use Vaseline, And so this is your main tuning slide. Okay, there it is. Be very careful when you're taking these out, because you don't want to damage any of the edges. That would make it difficult to put in again, and it also can ruin the airflow, cause leaks in your trumpet, and then it causes notes to go off key. So you put a little bit of Vaseline. It doesn't take a lot. I normally put it on the ends, so I would put it on the brass part, just on the ends, just a little bit on there, and a couple of about 3 streaks up the side. Same on the other part of the brass. Your tuning slide may have brass on top and bottom. Wherever the exposed brass is, that's the ends that you grease and put 3 streaks on. And then you just line it up gently, very gently, that, and slide it back down. What'll happen is you'll notice there'll be a little bit of Vaseline buildup as you slide it in. You just wipe off the excess. Okay, normally for proper tuning, your main tuning slide should be out approximately maybe ½ an inch, a quarter, I would say about 1/4 to ½ an inch, sometimes even more, depends on the temperature, air temperature, temperature of your instrument, these kinds of things. Depends on the tuning of the instrument that you're tuning it to. If you have a tuner that you're using, you can get a tuning app for your cell phone, and when you play C on your B flat trumpet, your tuning app will say B flat. So if it's too sharp, you're going to extend your main tuning slide a little bit until it comes close enough. Or if it's too flat, then you push your tuning slide in, and that brings it a little sharper. And that's how you tune your instrument. Again, I showed you these slides. This was the 3rd valve slide, and you would take that out. I usually push the valve down so that I don't get the air lock, because if I don't, mine slides back in, because it's got good compression, not much wear. But if you push that 3rd valve in, you can slide that out, and you grease that as well, the same way as you did the main tuning slide. And the same for if you have a 1st valve slide like this one, you would do the same thing. Push the valve in, pull it out, grease it, take it off, grease it, and so on, put it back in. This is your middle slide, but this one you actually don't need to grease because it's not used for tuning. You can grease it, which is fine, a little bit of Vaseline rather, but you don't necessarily have to. I use a little bit of Vaseline on mine just to keep it lubed up so that it doesn't seize up or anything like that. And again, I push the valve down and put the slide in. If you're ever working with your instrument on a surface, put maybe a soft towel, just put a soft towel down, because your brass instrument is soft metal and it's very easy to dent. Okay, and that's about it for now.